Hello everyone, I am Nadia Patel. Welcome to our Unified Modeling Language lecture series. Let us get started with our next unit, which is UML Diagrams Part 2 and Introduction to Software Testing. So we have already seen some behavioral diagrams, some structural diagrams. We have already gone through what behavioral diagrams are all about. In today's lecture, we are going to go through the interaction diagrams. So points which we are going to cover are interaction diagrams, introduction about interaction diagrams, purpose of interaction diagram, understanding interactions, and finally steps to draw any interaction diagram. So we have already gone through this classification of UML diagrams, which gets classified into structural diagrams and the behavioral diagrams. The structural diagrams are the ones which give us the structure of our system, that is, they comprise or they contain the static part and the structure, which is very frequently, or we can say less frequently, is going to get changed. And behavioral diagrams, that is the part which is going to give us the behavior of our system and is going to give the dynamic states of our system. So there are the diagrams which come under structural and behavioral diagram. We have already gone through the use case diagram, which is a behavioral diagram. We have gone through the state machine diagram. We have gone through the class diagram, which is the structural diagram of UML. And now in today's lecture, we will understand what are these interaction diagrams. So these interaction diagrams further get divided into sequence diagram, communication diagram, interaction overview diagram, and timing diagram. So let us study first what exactly these interaction diagrams are all about. So this is a very good picture showing interaction. We can say maybe they are friends, they are having a good time, conversation with each other, having a communication with each other, they are having an interaction. But when we say we interact, that means we have some give and take amongst us. Maybe there is sharing of ideas, maybe there is listening involved, maybe there is talking involved, there is some kind of involvement, there is communication, there is conversation. So when we say there is a communication involved, that means there is some sending of information and there is some receiving of information. We can also say or speak in other terms like we give some information and we take response to those information. So there is some kind of give and take involved. Speaking in very simple terms, there is some message passing involved. So there are some part of message which gets passed. There is some part of message which gets received. So this is maybe in simple terms interaction. Now this interaction can be speaking into real life example, like we have physical interactions, that means we come together, we talk, we conversate, we communicate, and there can be one interaction where we require something which is between us. Say for example, these are friends of same college, living in same city. So if they want to meet each other, if they want to interact with each other, they can come together, meet in a coffee shop or maybe in the college campus itself, come together, have a conversation, have some interaction, have fun together, go somewhere and spend their time. But if there is a possibility, if both of them, for example, the girl 1 and the girl 2, both of them are friends living in two different countries, and in such case it is not possible for every now and then to physically meet each other, have a time together and spend some time together in a coffee shop or something. In such cases, we will require something which should be in between, which should make this communication or interaction happen. So it can be a mobile device which can help us give a call and receive a call, or there can be, the best example is internet, which can make things happen. Thanks to technology, even our conversation and interaction is getting possible because of technology. So technology has brought world closer, so this type of interaction is possible. So speaking in technical terms, which we are going to apply to our software development, this is something which is a physical conversation where people are coming together, having a good time and sharing their ideas and conversating. On the contrary, this type of communication is requiring something in between, or a mediator who can pass on message taken from one person to the other. So this is the second type of interaction, and we are going to capture both type of interactions and apply them to our software development. So in the first type, where the friends of same college are coming together and having a good time, they are conversating, they are sharing information, exchanging information, this type of, you can say, interaction can be applied to software having a module. We can say the college is a module and they are objects of that module. So these are 4 different objects and they are from the same college, so we can say they are of same module. So objects of same module have a conversation between them, and then some things happen. Maybe object 1 passes a stimulus or a response to the object 2. In return, object 2 has to perform some calculation and some calculative result should be returned to the object 1. The result calculated should be passed to object 3 by the object 1. So this type of conversation can happen between objects of same module. In the second example, where both of the girls were from some different countries, we can say example of the girl 1 is from module 1 and the girl 2 is from module 2. So objects from 2 different modules can have an interaction between them. One more good example which can get completely applied to our second example, where we were requiring some mediator in between, could be that our software have some internal interactions. At the same time, our software also interacts with some other devices or some other softwares. Say for example, you are working on a billing system. The billing system might demand a printout of the bill which got calculated. In such case, our software should interact with the printer. There can be some code involved which is making this thing possible. If you have kept a button of print bill, and once the user pushes that button or presses that button, the bill is supposed to get generated. So there should be some mediating code involved which should make this interaction happen. So this is 2 type of interactions which we are going to find inside our software systems. Now let us go through the detailed theoretical introduction of our interaction diagrams. So first thing which we are going to do is calculate or find or capture all possible interactions from our system. We will try to find what communication is getting established in our system. We have to find conversation between objects of a system. For keeping it simple, if you're working on a mini project, we will not have lot of modules involved. We can have maximum of 2 or 3 modules. So under them you can say objects, just capturing as a whole objects of a system could be okay. We need to find communication taking place by passing or exchanging messages. Communication or messages are sent and received. These are 2 important statements which are going to help us actually draw these interaction diagrams. So what we are going to do is, first we need to find the objects, then we need to find is there a communication or a conversation involved. Next thing, we need to find what message passing is going on between them, and finally find what messages are sent and what messages are received. So let us go through the purpose of interaction diagrams, which is the first, visualize the interactive behavior of the system. So visualizing, actually we are trying to visualize, we are imagining how the system is going to interact, how the modules or the objects from them are interacting with each other, because these diagrams are going to help us set up a sound conversation between our objects. So if we are missing out on some objects and neglecting some of them, the diagram is definitely going to help you recall on some objects. The second thing is, we are going to capture the dynamic behavior of a system. We need to describe the message flow in the system. We need to describe the structural organization of an object. And finally, we need to describe interaction in terms of message passing among objects. So let us understand interaction diagrams in a little deeper way. We need to focus on the dynamic aspects of our systems only. Dynamic aspects are defined as snapshots of running system at a particular moment, a very important statement. So I've already highlighted the snapshot word. So what is a snapshot? Snapshot can be a click. So if what? I mean, of course, you might be using your mobile devices to click pictures, to click selfies. When you click pictures, you try to capture a moment, and that is known as a snapshot, that is a click. We are going to do the same thing. We are going to click pictures of our system's dynamic behavior. Say for example, you are transitioning from taking order in a billing system, you're taking order and you're about to generate the bill. So there is a moment between taking order and generating bill. In this slot of moment, either the order can get cancelled or the order can get confirmed and the bill might get generated. So this is a moment where anything can happen. The order can get placed or maybe the order can get cancelled. So we are going to find these moments in the terms of snapshots and in the form of interaction diagram. So following are some different types of interaction diagrams. The first is sequence diagram, second is communication diagram, third is timing diagram, and finally the collaboration diagram. Amongst them, sequence diagram and collaboration diagrams are the two which are the most popular ones and which are drawn in software developing industries and companies. Now these are the steps which we need to follow for drawing any interaction diagram. The first step is the popular one, find the objects taking part in the interaction. This is going to be very easy kind of diagram. Second thing, find the messages or messaging going on between the objects. Find the flow of these objects. Find the right sequence in which messages are flowing. And finally, organize all the objects together in a right header. That's it. So this was all about the interaction diagrams. I hope you found it easy. This was just an introduction or overview of what exactly these interaction diagrams are. And if you ask me about the benefits or the uses of interaction diagram, it is involved a whole list of benefits, because interaction is something which is required. Now right now I am only speaking about interaction between modules, that means the internal interactions. Interaction can also be between the software and another software. Interaction can also be between our software and some other device. Interaction can also be between our software and a human or the user. But right now we are just focusing into the internal interactions, that means between the modules, between elements of same modules, and so on. So that's it. This was all about the interaction diagram. I hope you understood. Thanks for watching.